Bringing people and communities together on seclosounds.org.
It's Thursday night. It's 9 o'clock. Air are playing gently in the background. It must be Mind Your Head. So here we are for our overflow show, really. We were due to finish last week, but due to public demand, here we are again for more. We're joined in the studio this evening by the usual crew, but sans Chris, unfortunately. I know. Good evening, Sue.
Evening.
Good evening, Jeanette.
Hello.
Good evening, Lizzie.
Good evening.
And good evening, Gillian. She's still not with her. Oh, that was almost a word on the radio there. Tonight on Mind Your Head, we are following up from last week where we really did run out of time properly. I mean, we didn't even have time to say a proper goodbye to Chris. So, Chris, if you're listening, thanks, mate, for everything.
Thank you, Chris.
It was wonderful having you here, and we will get you back next year. We know you've got to take a break for Christmas, but, we'll struggle on... personfully. We'll struggle on personfully without you. And so last week we were talking about the things that we can all do to keep ourselves well, to maintain positive emotional and mental health, and the things that we do day to day to keep our heads in a good space, how we mind our heads. So we're going to do some more of that this week because we did run out of time last week. So we're going to look again at a bit of food. I believe we might have a quiz.
We do.
We've got a quiz, Lizzie. Excellent. We like a quiz on Mind Your Head. We're going to have some isolation and social inclusion stuff from Jeanette. The importance of being involved in your communities and that sort of stuff. We're going to have some stuff around sleep, and we've got for the first time this series a song requested by Sue. It's not the one I'm going to play now because we've decided we had a straw poll before we started. We're going to start with a banger. I'll shut up talking. Oh no, I need to tell you about how you can get in touch. You can get in touch with us at facebook.com/MYH Radio Show. What does the MYH stand for, Chris?
Mind your head.
Thank you, well done. Oh, good. See, I told you we'd struggle on without you, Chris. So that's the best way to get in touch. You can get us at radio@seclosounds.org on the email. You can follow Seclo Sounds more generally on Facebook at Seclo Sounds Radio. You can Twitter at MK_mind or at Seclo Sounds. You can Skype us at Seclo Sounds. I really hope we get a Skype. And don't phone us in the studio because we've worked out that doesn't come to the studio. It goes to Mike, and Mike's probably chilling out at home watching a bit of telly. But do get in touch. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear what works for you, what helps you stay well, what challenges do you have, and we'll see if we can find some answers. But for now, we'll play you a banger. see, every now and then we play a proper banger on Mind Your Head. I think that's an interesting song that I suspect will split the audience quite nicely. Some will love it and some will hate it. That was Awol Nation with Sail. Another one of those songs, what is like in the charts and everything, and we is like bang up to date, innit? Here we are, Thursday night, Mind Your Head, where we are looking again at well-being, the things that we can all do to keep ourselves in a good place. We talked last week about the government's drive to make us exercise and eat 5 a day and all of those things that are physical activities. To look after our physical health, we're looking at how we can look after our mental health and well-being. So last week we talked about, what did we talk about, chaps? We talked about exercise.
Yep, bit of diet.
Bit of diet.
Bit of sleep.
Bit of sleep. Touched very briefly at the end on isolation and friendship and all of those important things. We did quite a lot on exercise. We did a little bit on diet. We ran out of time to go to sleep, unfortunately. So this week, we're going to spend a bit more time on some of those things that we missed last week. However, I think to get the juices going, we did do some stuff on diet last week. Lizzie, I believe this week you've got a quiz for us.
I do, actually, because I was doing a little bit of research on food and diet, and I found on the British Heart Foundation, really nice website, lots of information, as you would imagine, about eating healthily, how to eat healthily on a budget. And there's a really nice quiz that I thought we could do, and it's about food labelling.
Food labelling?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do we understand what's in our foods?
Okay, we're not good at labelling on this show. We try and resist labelling on this show.
But it's more about what's in foods.
I'm joking. Crack on. Okay. So last week we talked about the importance of diet. If you eat rubbish, basically you'll feel rubbish. The stuff that was done, the film about the bloke who only ate McDonald's for a month and what it did to his body, and the importance of balanced diets and fruit and oily fish and nuts. And I think I might have talked about broccoli for a little while.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. How bizarre was that? So, Lizzie.
Yes.
Or shall I call you Bamba Gascoigne this evening?
If you like.
Crack on with the quiz then, and we'll have a look at food. Are we answering the questions as we go along?
Yeah, shall we?
That
or
sounds
shall
like
I
a plan.
hand out pieces of paper? I can do both.
No.
I'm multitasking this evening.
No, crack on. We'll
okay.
go through it. Cause,
So, this is just a quick food labelling quiz, just to see whether we know what's in our food, what we're eating. So the first question was, we know that the most important meal of the day is the breakfast. So which breakfast is the highest in calories? Is it a frosted cereal, a cereal bar, or a croissant? Which is the highest
in sugar?
In calories.
Calories. Ooh. Because croissants are usually got butter in, haven't they?
Butter,
I'd go for cereal bar because it's full of sugar and syrup and nuts probably. And
Okay.
I'm a croissant person, I think.
Yeah. Chili, what do you reckon? No, you can't look at the answer. That's cheating.
Are sugars empty calorie? Do they? I don't know.
It's just a high in calorie. What's the most
I'm
calorific?
going croissant.
Croissant, yeah.
cereal bar.
It is actually a cereal bar. Yeah. Well
Jeanette.
done, Jeanette.
One to Jeanette.
Okay, so
Okay.
we know that fruit and vegetables make a good
So,
snack.
so what you're saying is in terms of breakfasts,
Yes.
cereal bars, not good.
Yeah, actually really high in calories.
Okay, so coffee and cigarettes, is that all right?
What do you think?
I think probably
Scrambled tofu.
scramble. Okay, presumably it should be something like porridge. You were talking about porridge last week, weren't you?
That's
Sue,
right,
and the
yeah,
benefits
yeah.
of porridge and the slow release and all of that. Bit
Yeah.
of fruit, bit of yogurt,
Yeah.
something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Jolly
So
good,
we
okay.
know it. So we also know that fruit and veg are good snacks. But what about other
What?
tempting foods?
Good snacks.
Sounds really
No,
boring.
absolutely.
Yeah,
no, chocolate.
we do know
chocolate's
this,
good
guys.
snacks.
So out of these, which has the most saturated fat?
Brazil nuts.
Is it a currant bun, a flapjack, or a digestive biscuit? Highest in saturated fat.
I'd go for flapjack.
Yeah, flapjack.
Digestive biscuit.
Okay.
Peer pressure flapjack. What was it? Digestive flapjack or currant bun? Ooh, I think it might be a currant bun.
It is, in fact, a flapjack.
Oh,
So well done, guys.
Jeanette and Julie,
Yes,
point each.
yeah.
Okay,
So
good,
next,
right.
grabbing
okay,
a
so we
sandwich.
shouldn't be eating flapjacks.
No, we're not saying we shouldn't, but obviously, depending on what you're having during the day, you've got to look at evening that out, maybe.
Okay, fair enough.
If you're going on a long walk, maybe a flapjack is perfect.
It's very good. It's
It
very good
depends
for
the shape as
cyclists
well, doesn't it?
I know
Yes.
when... yeah, no,
You
tri-
don't
no
have
triangular
triangles,
front.
yeah.
When we did the 5 Nations bike ride,
Yeah.
flapjacks were brilliant for the cyclists because they were full of
Yeah.
calories and whatever else. If you're cycling 100 miles a day, you can pretty much eat what you want.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So next question, grabbing a sandwich for lunch is an easy option, but which of these sandwiches has the least salt content? Is it cheese and coleslaw, chicken Caesar, or egg and cress? Which has the least salt?
Egg and cress.
What were they again?
You've got cheese and coleslaw. chick-
Coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
Nice.
Chicken Caesar or egg and cress?
I'll go with egg and cress as well.
Okay. Is that consensus of opinion? Yeah.
I'm going to go for chicken.
It is in fact the chicken.
Chicken Caesar.
Yeah.
Really?
I actually thought egg and cress would be.
Egg and cress sounds
Yeah, it's
reasonably
really healthy, doesn't
yeah.
it? But no, it's
Horrible,
chicken
but
Caesar.
healthy.
And I guess chicken Caesar on its own, so not with loads of, salad cream, etc., etc. But okay, so that's a good one for our least salt.
Okay.
So most of us are eating too much saturated fat, which has the highest unsaturated fat. So is it raspberry cheesecake, sausage roll, or a cheese feast pizza? Which has the highest unsaturated fat?
Highest unsaturated fat.
Yeah.
Um,
Raspberry cheesecake, sausage roll, or the mighty cheese feast pizza?
cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the cheese feast pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the biggest thing, so there's
I
going to be
know,
more in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are
It's-
really good questions, actually,
They are
aren't
really
they?
good questions.
Yeah.
They do make you think. Yeah.
Last one.
Okay,
Ready
go.
meals, quick and easy, but do we know what's in them? Which has the lowest saturated fat? So is it a shepherd's pie,
No.
tagliatelle carbonara,
No.
lasagna?
No. They're all rubbish.
If you had to choose one ready meal, Steve, which would be the lowest
the
saturated?
first
I did
one.
the box.
Yeah. I think the first one, the cottage pie, is probably lowest.
Yeah, it's a shepherd's pie.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Well
finally
done.
got one.
But I
Okay.
thought that was really interesting because it really made you think about fats and everything else, not just about calories. And it-
Definitely. I mean, I think we all know that if you only eat chocolate and burgers and all of those unhealthy, the highly calorific things,
You'll be really happy.
You'd be happy. But maybe unless you're doing a lot of exercise, you will put on weight. And I think we put so much emphasis on weight. And there was a lovely program on the telly the other day. I can't remember what it was. Something about health and the myths around health. And they took 15 people and measured things like BMI.
Yeah.
But then measured body fat ratio, and then measured how healthy they were in terms of exercise and breathing and whatever
Yeah.
else. And actually, BMI and healthiness are not necessarily conducive. I'm going to share a bit here about me. My name's Steve, and I'm addicted to cigarettes. I smoke far too much. It's the one real vice I have left. And I know I'm relatively slim. My BMI is perfectly within the safe limits. My diet's not bad. I don't drink excessively. I'm relatively healthy, other than the fact that I smoke. And I know that just knackers me in terms of health. It's the one thing that we can all do to make ourselves healthy. But again, in terms of diet, my diet's not bad, but I do occasionally pig out on most of the things that you've just said are the worst for me, Lizzie. So there you go. Really good quiz. So that was British Heart Foundation?
Yeah, British Heart Foundation, really good website, lots of information. Yeah.
So it's not just about calories, it's about saturated
Yeah,
fats,
it's about looking at
salts,
everything on
it's
those
about-
labels,
It's
yeah.
about all of the nutrients that we all need
Yeah.
to keep our heads in a good place. I was there was a thing about your brain, and your brain's made up of omega oils as well as water and all of those sort of things. And omega oils are oily fish and some nuts and pulses and that sort of stuff.
Linseed.
Sorry?
Linseed.
Linseed. There you go. And the importance of having that in your diet. And I think those are things that you kind of don't necessarily think about when you think about healthy diet. You think about cucumber and celery and rocket. Rocket is properly nice, by the way. It's like lettuce, but with flavour. So it's all of those things that we... sorry, that joke is copyright Jeanette, I believe. So yeah, have a think about what you're putting in your body, because what you put in your body will have an impact on how you feel. We will come back after these messages and Sue's song to talk about sleep and isolation and all of those sort of things. Lizzie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Happy Radio.
Hi, this is Russell Hearn. Join me Fridays at 12 for a little pick-me-up. I'll be playing the music that stirs those warm memories and takes you to a special time and place. And Millie's here with her choice of fun apps for your phone too. So for a lighter look at life and some songs you'll never forget, tune in to seclosounds.org for some happy radio.
Oh, well, there you go. It was a shortened version, and it seemed to stop for no apparent reason. Other department stores are available, just so everybody knows. There you go. That's as close to a Christmas record as you're going to get on this show, although next week we are doing a Surviving Christmas special, so I might even play a Christmas song. But if I do...
Fairy Tale of New York.
Well, funny enough, I was making a Christmas CD the other day. And Run DMC have got a proper good Christmas tune, and Twisted Sister have got a proper good Christmas tune. So I might just do alternative Christmas CDs. Anyway, it's Mind Your Head. It's 20 past 9. Blimey, it's 20 past 9 already. That's astonishing. We are looking at well-being and the things that we all need to do to keep to mind our heads. I quite like this, you know. I quite like saying mind your head all the time. We've talked about exercise. We're going to talk about sleep. There's a really good mind troubleshooter about sleep problems. It's a fold-out fact file. Fold-out fact file from Mind. And it says some...
God, that's yellow.
It's a particularly yellow. Yeah,
to
you
keep
can't
you awake.
sleep. Look at this. People may worry about not getting enough sleep, but worrying only makes it worse. It's easy to overestimate how much sleep you need, or not to realise it's normal to wake up briefly each night. The occasional bad patch is harmless and usually rights itself. It's only of concern if it's been going on longer than a month. Apparently, the average amount of sleep is 7 or 8 hours a night, but we all need different amounts and less as we get older. My brother, bizarrely, 4 hours a night is absolutely fine for him. I think Mrs. Thatcher was the same, but she was Howard Butt. No, I'm not. Other ex-politicians are available. We pass through cycles of light and deep sleep at night. Every 90 minutes comes a period of dream sleep, REM, which is vital for our well-being. Interestingly, in my experience, if I can't sleep and I listen to REM, that helps. Sometimes we incur a sleep debit, making us tired and irritable, unable to concentrate or to function properly. it stops once the debt is paid off. I quite like that idea, that you actually have a sleep bank, and if you don't get enough, you go into the red, and you need to catch up to get back into the black. And long-term sleep problems may cause physical or mental health problems. Things that may disrupt your sleep pattern: snoring that interferes with breathing, too much stress, ill health or physical pain, anxiety and depression, jet lag, shift work, traumatic events, going into hospital, a residential home or a hotel. Anybody who's ever been to Travel Lodge Sheffield, maybe it was just the night we were there. It seems to be stag and hen centre of the world, Sheffield. Medicines such as water pills, steroids, beta blockers, and some painkillers, antidepressants, slimming tablets, and cold remedies. Some sleeping tablets have a side effect of insomnia, which I always found particularly bizarre. Withdrawing from certain drugs, certain street drugs, ecstasy, cocaine, amphetamines, and overusing alcohol, tobacco, and caffeine. So,
Wow.
there you go. That's the first page of the Handy Sleep Guide. There are some 10 tips to help you sleep, which I will put a link on our Facebook page so that you can have a look at those. Somebody last week was talking about sleep hygiene. Who was that? Was that you, Jeanette?
It was me.
What did you mean by sleep hygiene? Is that a tidy bed with neat pillows?
It isn't. It was, if I remember rightly, because I don't have the piece of paper with me, it was just talking about having a bedroom as a place that you restricted to sleeping or sex, and you didn't have TV and you didn't have computers, so you just kind of kept it as a place that you associated with sleeping and not anything else.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've had a little look. I found a really good website as well called the Sleep Council. .org.uk, and they have everything about sleep, and they have some really nice information for different, like you say, tips for shift workers, tips even for clubbers when they go out clubbing.
Sweet.
Yeah, and in fact, in true Blue Peter style, I brought something with me today because they suggested a sleep sandwich. Now, Steve, I'd really like you to try this and maybe let the viewers know, or listeners at home know what it's like. Apparently, this sleep sandwich, it's banana, Marmite and lettuce.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
And apparently, it's absolutely brilliant to help aid your sleep.
It may well be brilliant,
Yeah.
but it's got Marmite in it.
Oh,
And Marmite is
love it or
personification
hate
of
it.
evil.
Well, maybe I'll have one a bit later.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so banana has potassium and other...
Yeah,
sleepy
apparently
things
the
in.
combination of the banana and Marmite together works. I don't know why. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find out. And
Well,
apparently
there
the
you go.
Romans were way ahead because they realised that lettuce apparently is really good to helping us sleep. Yeah.
Do bananas and twiglets work instead?
Well, I don't know, Sue. Maybe you can let us know.
Or hedgehog.
Lettuce helps you sleep.
Yeah, apparently so.
Okay, so
Remember the
why,
rabbits in
why are
Roger's
well, I
Potter?
was going to say, why are rabbits so frisky?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. In terms of sleep hygiene, my understanding of sleep hygiene is it's all about that sort of thing, but it's also about the routines that you
Yeah.
get into. So it's about establishing that regular routine where you go to bed at a fixed time and you get up at a fixed time. I think I talked last week about the weekends being a bugger for me because I get to lie in and then I'm not ready for sleep in the evenings. And think about, your bedroom. I think you were talking about, Jeanette, being for certain activities only, but it's also about temperature and making sure there's fresh air in there.
And fairy lights.
Sorry?
And fairy lights.
Okay. Why fairy lights?
I just got back into my bedroom and I treated myself to some nice fairy lights. It's very pretty. It's like Christmas every day.
Okay. Good. It's about doing the things to de-stress before bed. So it might be a banana and Marmite sandwich, which frankly wouldn't de-stress me at all. But
Yeah, but it's making sure that you don't have like stimulants beforehand. Maybe, turn the telly off for about 20 minutes before you go to bed. That kind of thing.
have a warm bath,
Yeah.
hot milky drinks. What? No, they don't work.
No,
Or
no, not for me.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like you with your Marmite.
Yeah, you don't. Okay, you don't like hot milky drinks. Okay, hot milky drinks do, however, help
Yes.
you sleep.
Yeah.
Not if you have too many of them during the day.
Yeah, not too much. Not too much coffee, certainly. And if you can't sleep and you're just lying there tossing and turning, get up, read a book, take a bit of time, get tired, and then go back to bed. Is what my bright yellow sheet says in front of me. Um,
I keep a journal as well, because sometimes I don't sleep because I've got stuff going around in my head, or I've got things that I need to plan. So I just keep something and a pen and paper, and then I can, rather than worrying about whether I'll remember the things in the morning, I just scribble them down, and then
that's a good idea.
Yeah, stress about them, and they go away, and I can sleep.
Yeah, I have a pad by the side of the bed. It says, learn to de-stress before bed. Dismiss nagging thoughts by writing them down. Listen to a relaxation tape, but don't read or watch television in bed. It says, bizarrely. I think it's a question of finding out what works for you. And it suggests keeping a sleep diary, which helps you identify potential causes for your sleeplessness. And once you've got an idea about what it is that works for you, then you can focus on it and work out what it is. It also says use strategies. Try some reverse psychology. Keep your eyes open and tell yourself to resist sleep. Interrupt unwanted thoughts. Repeat a soothing word to yourself. Visualise a scene or landscape that has pleasant memories for you.
Well, they're like relaxation techniques, aren't they? I mean, doing anything that, like a bit of yoga or meditation. And I think the trouble is, though, there's a difference between having a bit of erratic sleep pattern if maybe you're having a bit of a stressful time, but also, when you really are suffering with insomnia, there's that awful, I'm going to go to bed, but am I going to go to sleep? And, it's a terrible vicious cycle, isn't it, when you get into that?
Yeah. It suggests here complementary remedies, yoga, meditation, herbal remedies such as lavender or valerian.
Don't use too much lavender, though, because it's a stimulant. If you use too much, people make the mistake of putting half a bottle onto there. There's a few essential oils that have the opposite effect if you use them too much. Marjoram's the same. Marjoram is quite sedating if you use it in a small amount, but if you tip half a bottle onto the pillow, your eyes will be on stalks all night.
Okay. It also suggests homeopathy, but...
we know how much you believe in homeopathy, don't we?
It's like the Easter Bunny. Okay, any other...
He exists. We saw him on a film, so he definitely exists.
I think you'll find it was a cartoon, Jeanette.
No,
it was a cartoon. Oh dear. Okay. You can get some information about... here we go. We could try a nighttime relaxation route. No, actually, no. I don't want you lot going to sleep now. We've got another half a show to do. Breathe deeply, counting slowly up to 4 as you breathe in. Hold for another 4 seconds and then breathe out slowly. Consciously tense and relax your muscles in turn, starting at your toes and working up your body. So all of those things that we do for various things to relax ourselves are helpful in terms of sleep. You can get information from the Sleep Council.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's something like sleepcouncil.org, but I'll check during the next song.
Yeah. The Mental Health Foundation was where I got the stuff last week. So
Mental Health Foundation have some really good stuff as well. Mind.org.uk have a range of downloadable bits of information. All of those places are places you can go and get some information if you want to help yourself sleep. If you are experiencing serious sleep problems, so if it's gone on for over a month, you may also want to go and talk to your GP. There are things they can refer you to, sleep clinics, cognitive behaviour therapy, that sort of thing. Go on.
Something last week as well talked about CBT as because if people were kind of sort of stressed and it seemed like an odd intervention, but they talked about, one of the websites talked about kind of various types of therapy just as a way of if people were stressed, just that might help them to sleep if they work through some of the issues that were troubling them.
Absolutely. Okay, it's 9:30. That was sleep. We'll come back after some more messages. And before I play the next promo, we've got Groove Lounge coming up after us with Andrew Ackerman. He's got Sisters with Voices as his album of the week. Anybody remember Sisters with Voices, SWV?
No.
No, just me then. Okay, here's some information about Groove Lounge.
Hi, this is Andrew Ackerman inviting you to join me for Groove Lounge every Thursday night between 10 and 12 a.m. on Seclo Sounds, playing the very best in smooth jazz and soul. Groove Lounge on Seclo Sounds and TuneIn Radio.
Another pregnant girl underage. You know you can't show anyone in the same household. Oh, the boy doesn't care. The story ain't new though. You got the feeling. many relationships that resemble love, just for comfort and none of the above. Too scared to call it, to break away, to break away. You got the feel. Your future standing right in front of you, staring at you in your full view. But only you can make the change. It's up to you to break the chain. You got the feel. I know you're running, 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 trying to bark, but doubt is what is tearing your world apart. You got the feel. Call me if you need someone to lean on, lean on. Call me if you need someone to lean on. Call me if you need someone to lean on, lean on. Let me be the one you lean on. Call me if you need someone to lean on, lean on. Call me if you need someone to lean on. Call me if you need someone to lean on, lean on. Let me be the one you lean on. Love more than worry less. 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 Love
That's Bipolar Sunshine, Worry More, Love Less. That was one of Chris's requests, which was a lovely thing.
It was.
He requested it a while ago. So, Chris, if you're listening, there you go, mate. I'm just putting the links on the Facebook page now for the Mental Health Foundation and the Sleep Council. So if you do want to have a look, you can go to facebook.com, MYH Radio Show. What's the MYH stand for?
Mind your head.
Well played, chaps. Good, okay. Janetti Spaghetti is going to talk about isolation and how utterly pants it is for people. So, Janetti, I will hand the baton to you. Talk us through it. Ask us questions if you want to, please.
Okie dokie. There's quite a lot of stuff here because I've read some really interesting reports. I suppose the place to kind of start. One of these, it's called the Lonely Society. This report, and it looks at. It asked a lot of people what they felt about loneliness and kind of isolation, and it asked, "Are we getting lonelier?" And it suggests there's sort of many societal kind of reasons that we are. That people tend to work at home, that they shop and socialise online, that they live alone, they commute long distances, they might work long hours, they live further away from their families, and they even talk about the lack of kind of focal points in the community, places like post offices and things that have kind of closed down where people would go. So it suggests, yes, that we are generally becoming more lonely. There's some sort of stats that say things like there's only 22% of the people who were kind of questioned that never feel lonely. 42% have felt depressed because they were alone. And 57 people experiencing mental distress isolate themselves from their family and friends. 29% said they feel lonely because they don't have enough time to spend with their family and friends. And only 11% of people sought help for feeling lonely. And 30% said they would actually be ashamed to talk to a GP about feeling lonely. There was somebody from a professor from Harvard who said something that I thought was actually quite interesting. That when people feel lonely, they step back, she calls it. So they step away from people. They send out signals that they don't need people. They don't want them to be around. They feel ashamed that they're different. And once they kind of step away from people, it's harder to step back. She said people are more willing to admit to having a psychiatric problem than they are to being lonely, which I thought was quite interesting. And there's another report that says something similar. Can't actually find that now, but I think that the gist of it is that as a part of society, we're supposed to be sort of self-sufficient, and there's a massive stigma attached to, more so to being kind of unpopular and unlovable than there is almost to suffering from mental distress. So I thought that was quite interesting. It suggests that there's certain kind of personality types of people who experience loneliness. Some of them make distinctions between loneliness and solitude, because solitude is actually good for your mental health. And some people, reports suggest that your level of kind of comfort of being around people, you learn from parents in your kind of early life. So
sure.
Different people will have different expectations or requirements of sort of social connectedness. So for some people, being alone is actually, an important thing, and they need the space and
absolutely,
they need the time.
So is it about having the choice, almost, that you can choose to be alone, you can choose to spend time on your own, but equally you need to be able to choose to spend time with other people when you want that too? Okay. That makes perfect sense.
There was an interesting theory, and there's a few people that have sort of used this kind of analogy that one guy talks about a zookeeper, and if an animal was kind of ailing, they said the things they would look at: has it got the right diet? Is it in the right physical environment? Are its emotional needs being met? So if it's a pig, has it got football to play with? Obviously there wouldn't be a pig in a zoo necessarily, but so
all the best zoos have pigs.
They should,
and all the best pigs have footballs.
They should. They like footballs. But they said the one thing that a zookeeper or a person looking after animals might ask is, are their social needs being met? So do they have other animals of the same kind around? And that's not something that a doctor would ask. That wouldn't be something they would view as being kind of important, and that's the difference. This guy suggests that we're social animals. If you look at animals like wolves or lions, they kind of hunt in packs. Being part of a community is important for their survival. So he suggests that the reason social isolation makes people ill is because being disconnected means that you're not safe, so you're likely to suffer from higher levels of anxiety because you don't have the people around you need to feel safe and to survive. And he talks about how so your body produces stress hormones and cortisol.
Yeah.
So that's and he compares the effects of social isolation with the effects of an excess of cortisol, and the effects are startlingly similar. So I thought that was quite an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah, there was some research done fairly recently, last couple of years, around the impact of isolation, social isolation on health, and it's as bad for you in terms of life expectancy as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, drinking alcohol to unsafe level, twice as bad for you as obesity. So, this is a massive public health issue in many ways, which isn't necessarily being addressed in the same way as many of the other ones.
Some of the impacts here: less energy, greater chance of chronic illness, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, lower functioning of the immune system, more frequently sick, longer recovery times, increased chance of depression, decreased satisfaction with life, and generally, likely to be a shorter life too.
I think it's interesting. There's if you look at older people who go into hospital, if they have a pet at home, their recovery is quicker because they have a sense of belonging and responsibility, and they want to get back to their pet. And so the same is presumably true of friends and family and those people that are around you. If you've got something to go back home for, you're more likely to recover more quickly. So Jeanette, that's the problem.
The solution.
Yeah, how are we fixing this then?
Okay.
Come on, change the world.
There are various interventions that are suggested, starting with kind of, I suppose, more obvious. I mean, what was interesting, better integrated societies have less crime, lower mortality and better quality of life.
Of course.
So there are things like, they suggest psychological therapies to help overcome emotional issues, CBT to look at fear and overcoming fear, volunteering, which is obviously something that's kind of quite close to my heart. It talks about the various kinds of various other kinds of intervention. So it looks at things like befriending. So that's somebody who would support somebody in an individual sense, looking at their kind of emotional well-being. It talks about mentoring, which is kind of more focused on and goal-oriented. So it's giving people something to kind of aim towards.
There's a new mentoring scheme starting in January. I know.
So they talk about wayfinders, so volunteers who signpost people to kind of the right kind of groups to give them support.
Okay.
Group services, which they class as things like lunch clubs, social groups, day services.
There's a fair number of them around in the
there's lots.
If you hand them out.
Volunteering again, looking at things like time banks, befriending services, general volunteering. All of these sort of studies found that survival rates were much higher for people having these interventions.
Okay.
It was hard to evaluate though, because obviously if we're looking at a holistic model, not everybody is going to want the same kind of intervention, or not everything is going to be kind of. They said there was patchy evidence of whether or not internet kind of stuff was useful. Some people did say that they were more able to be in touch with their family, but there's something about kind of the physical interaction that you don't kind of get. Group interventions generally better than one-to-ones. And the interesting thing, the evaluation from sort of participants said things like there was increased social interaction, improvement of self-esteem, they felt physically and mentally better, increased physical activity, which was good for them, sleeping better, and reduction in medication. The improvements, and looking at more generally at the ways those things could be improved, people said that they thought services could be more sort of flexible, so befriending only at certain times, that wasn't kind of what worked best for people.
Okay, Sue.
I relate to a lot of what Jeanette's just been saying.
Yeah.
I do get a lot of social intermingling by doing different courses and etc. But as soon as I walk away, like tonight, as soon as I walk away and get in the car from here, I'm home, I'm isolated, I'm alone.
Yes.
And I can go home tonight. I've got nothing planned for the weekend, so I could go in the door tonight and not come out until Monday lunchtime when I've got a course, and hear from no one, talk to no one. So whilst you think I'm sort of socialising and everything else, I've also got that isolation thing. So all these courses, and they think, like, oh, fine, you're socialising, but it's when you get back in your own sort of bit of territory, which is where the isolation comes from. Okay,
so this is the difference, I suppose, between services, which is, I suppose, to some extent what you're talking about, Jeanette, what we can do to help people overcome their isolation, and forming, for you, relationships that are more than services.
That's right, so they go on longer, they don't stop as soon as sort of 1 o'clock comes, they don't stop. And,
absolutely. So over the weekend, you can pick your phone up and say, all right, Bob, do you want to come round? And
that sort of thing,
Right, okay. I think that's a really interesting point, and I think one of the things that's been a problem for mental health services, certainly for a long time, is 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, not too bad. Evenings and weekends, there's nothing, and that's when everybody else is socialising. So we need to think about how we how we most effectively manage that.
But it's about what, sometimes people are isolated because they can't physically reach things, but sometimes people are isolating themselves because it's about feeling safer, and there's a number of reasons why you might do that. So that's the kind of difference between accessing the service and then actually doing something that makes you feel kind of safer and more able to kind of engage with people. And so that's looking at the kind of more therapeutic aspect of it that actually allows you to connect to people in a way that isn't kind of service sort of based.
So it's about getting your head into a space where you're able to go and do it yourself.
Yeah, and there's lots of things. I mean, my psychotherapist is very good, and I've been working through stuff, techniques and tips to kind of deal with social situations, which have been massively helpful.
Excellent stuff. Okay, we're going to have to take a break, but in a radio style, Lizzie, are you all right? You've had that sandwich, haven't you? And you're going to sleep now.
It's working.
We all tried that sandwich. By the way, Marmite is still nasty. One of the things that you can do in terms of isolation is get involved in things in your community. And one of the things that I'm supposed to say every now and then in terms of the show is that Seclo Sounds is based at the Old Rectory, which is the home of Interaction. Interaction MK is they've been bringing arts to life in Milton Keynes for over 35 years. They use the arts to improve the life chances of disabled people and others in challenging circumstances through shared creative activity. And their programmes help participants to develop creative, personal and social skills. So Interaction is one of those many places around Milton Keynes. Did you see what I did there? I wedged that one in, didn't I? One of the many places around Milton Keynes where you can go and do some social things and meet some new people. However, and interestingly, Christmas, I think, is one of those times where potentially people feel most isolated. And now I'm going to play a Christmas promo.
Join me, Tony Carty, for my show Soundtracks on Christmas Day. Obviously, the show is on a theme. What else could it be? 10 p.m, Christmas Day, Soundtracks. It's the Soundtracks Summer Special. Well, they said seasonal.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, and I know, 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 I know. Hey, I ought to leave the young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away, anytime she goes away.
Okay, I can't believe I've just faded Bill with us, but we are running out of time, as we always do. Jeanette, you wanted to talk about interventions. Go.
I just wanted to say about them being, they need to be more gender and population and locality specific. And I just wanted to kind of a bit of a plug for my day job because we kind of help place volunteers locally in Milton Keynes. And there are things like, well, we talked before about Men in Sheds. There's a really, really nice group starting up in Bletchley, which is the Bletchley Women's Guild, which works with kind of women who, from an Islamic background, who need to do single-sex swimming and need to learn languages and stuff. So there's lots of volunteering opportunities locally, which is a really kind of good way to get out and meet people in a neutral way without the kind of power balance thing. And there's just lots of organisations looking for support, and it's really easy to, if you want to volunteer.
Okay, so where should people go?
Acorn House in Midsummer Boulevard. You can put details up on thingy, can't you?
I can. Yeah. Who's your organisation, Jeanette?
Community Action Milton Keynes.
So it's www.communityactionmk.org.
Yes, and we can put the Do It website up as well, because that has all the local volunteering opportunities. There's a drop-in on a Thursday morning between 10 and 12.
Perfect. And only 8 seconds longer than you were supposed to, so well played. Okay, I promised that I would mention this last week, and I really, really need to. There's some really interesting information and research coming out with regard to diabetes and Alzheimer's. This is a massive plug because my brother has done it, because he's like a scientist and everything, you know. Having type 2 diabetes may mean that you're already on the path to Alzheimer's. That's a study linking the two diseases. It suggests that Alzheimer's is costing America $130 billion in 2011, and one of the biggest risk factors is having type 2 diabetes. And there's some question about whether they're the same disease, which is really interesting. It also says that Ewan McNay, who led the team at the University of Albany in New York State, has cut down on eating chocolate since he did this research. That's the massivest pile of tosh and cobblers I've ever heard. My brother is a massive chocolate fiend, so that's nonsense. If you want to have a look at that, it's in the New Scientist, but it was also picked up by the Sunday Times and the Daily Mail. So I would go to the New Scientist rather than buying either the Sunday Times or the Daily Mail personally, but that's an opinion of me and not Seclo Sounds or any of its affiliates. We are coming to the end. Next week is our final proper show of the series, where we will be looking at how to survive Christmas. You can keep the conversation going at facebook.com/MYH Radio Show or Facebook Seclo Sounds Radio. You can email us in the studio, radio@seclosounds.org. We will be back next week with that. Sue, thank you very much. Sue led the Wellbeing agenda for the last couple of weeks, so Sue, thank you very much. Jeanette, thank you very much for your isolation. Community Action MK, really good organisation. They do some marvellous stuff. Massively appreciate it. I like them quite a lot. And I know lots of them. I was at a meeting with one of your colleagues today, actually, Karina. So thank you and good night, Jeanette.
Good night.
Lizzie, thank you for your quiz.
You're
Always
welcome.
a pleasure.
And the sandwich.
And the sandwich. Well, no, not the sandwich. It was evil. Horrible, nasty, vicious, minging sandwich. But there you go. And Gillian, thanks for not talking again, but always lovely to have you here. We're going to go out with Lost in You, the original mix, which is from the Aaron Jeep sampler, which you gave me, Jeanette, and it's brilliant, and I'm loving it. Coming up next is Andrew Ackerman with Groove Lounge. Sisters with Voices is the album of the week, I believe. We will see you the same time, same place next week.
I gotta let it go. Don't wanna lose control.
You can find us at facebook.com/MYH Radio Show.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture, and much more to 66,000 readers every month. Plus news, views, and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.